Welcome to
All
the
right.
B&B. This is a very
Yes.
special episode. You know why, Benjamin?
Why?
Because it's the day after your birthday. We just
Yes,
talked
that
about
is
it,
true.
but they don't know.
Yeah,
How
they
was it?
don't. Hmm. It was pretty good. Pretty good birthday.
It's good. We'll
Yeah, I
celebrate it
saw
for
Black
real later.
Panther.
Ah, I
Yeah.
bet I've heard about that movie.
Yeah, it was
I heard
so
it's less
cool.
funny than it's less humorous than the other Marvel movies, but still good.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was amazing. I like the whole royalty stuff, and you have the king and the fighting and the other side. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, King, that's a superhero. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see it. I'm also trying to see Annihilation. My dad
Mhm.
was interested in that one. Is that's the one with like the kind of it's the forested area with the big rainbow barrier.
Oh,
You know
snap.
what I'm talking about?
I've heard of it. I don't know a whole lot about it at all.
Me neither. I don't know too much about it either, but it looks pretty interesting. I've heard
Oh,
good
is that Natalie
things.
Portman?
I think it
I
is.
just looked up Natalie Portman. Okay, I gotta see it then.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
Uh,
she's like such a good actress.
yeah. But we got to get on topic here because there's a
Yes,
lot
yes,
to
right,
talk
right.
about. This episode, which you have known in advance, is about news.
Mhm.
Yeah, the world, stuff like that. But more
Yes.
specifically, we're drawing from Vice documentaries, which is pretty exciting
Yes.
because I love Vice documentaries. I kill so
I
much
know
time
they're
with Vice docu.
fascinating.
They always pick the weirdest stuff. Imagine
Yeah.
working for Vice, getting to go to all these places.
Yeah.
Now, I'm actually in journalism class because I find it rather fun to report on stuff. Now, the Wesleyan newspaper, you know that movie? I think it's Full Metal Jacket or something.
Mhm.
It's a Vietnam War movie, but the
Right.
guy is a journalist and he talks about the Stars and Stripes paper, which is like a propaganda paper for the US over in
Oh,
Vietnam.
yeah.
I work for the Stars and Stripes of Wesleyan.
Oh, I see.
You gotta every article is kind of similar. It's all gonna be, wow, sure is looking good, and then
Oh,
that's
you can't
mostly
say
it.
negative things,
Not
or if you
really.
do, it has to be in a positive way.
I'm a student at the school, so I can't like
Right, right.
say anything. It's not like I'll be publishing groundbreaking papers, corruption rife within the ranks. Like no, but it was the only reason I was thinking about it is because there's been like a string of expulsions at Wesleyan. Did I tell you
Mhm.
about that?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll tell you again
Yeah.
for the sake of
Right, right.
conversation. Um, yeah, so a bunch of kids got expelled for making like a GMod map where you shoot it's a GMod map of the school and you like shoot at
Right.
guys in it, which is, probably the worst move you could do in the current climate.
Yeah, yeah.
And they also sent insulting emails to Mormon websites.
What?
Yeah,
With like a school email address
they
or?
use their school laptop with their school
Ah,
email to send slurs to
idiots.
like Mormon websites. It's like ha
Yeah,
ha ha,
that's not cool. Yeah.
so funny. But then it's not because you guys are stupid. I don't
I
know.
know, 'cause the school, yeah.
But then right after that, actually, I was writing an article on students who own their own businesses. I say own businesses. There's only like one or two that own a straight up business. The other couple do independent work. But one
Mhm.
of them was a combo team, a two-man team, and I don't want to like say any names 'cause I don't want to be a jerk. But
Right.
one of them, there's a vaping incident at the school,
Ah, I see.
and he uh, he actually went to the hospital or something.
Holy
Which,
cow.
yeah, no, yeah, it was I think it was a synthetic weed or something.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
that's been going on, and because normally I've heard they just kind of wave a hand like stop it, you guys. But then he went to the hospital and was like, okay, we cannot allow that anymore,
Right.
and it freaking sucks, man. He was going here for years and years and years, and then he's out the door second semester. It's terrible.
Yeah, that
Imagine
is terrible.
it reminds me of a story. My brother, some kid in his grade senior year, last like 4 days he's in school. He steals an exam and gets expelled, and he's been going there since like
Ah,
kindergarten.
dang, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Ah,
Do you get much of that at Norcross?
um, not real. I mean, people sort of just move in and out sometimes. I mean, people do get expelled over things, but usually it's over like if you got in a fight or you got caught. weed or alcohol or something like that. Those are the main ways people usually leave.
Yeah.
Is, but not. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that have been expelled.
Yeah. Anyway, so he got expelled. Some other kids got suspended. But I was he was the half of that operation, and I had
Yeah.
written the article, and I had to go through after it was published and just scrub the entire article and act like he didn't exist. I had to say
Oh,
this guy and his partner, and and he had a bunch of great quotes about like why you should work in high school and why you should
right.
save money and how it helps his character. And
But you
then
couldn't talk about it anymore.
he probably had like 60-70% of the quotes. I had to just replace it with like other. I had to jam in quotes from his partner that didn't fit, which
Oh,
sucked, man.
yeah,
It was weird. It felt dirty. We couldn't talk about it in
yeah.
class either. Like the teachers couldn't discuss it because they can't.
Censorship. No.
A little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. But
yeah,
regardless, I do find journalism pretty fascinating.
yeah. I've thought about doing it maybe in college.
Yeah, totally. I recommend
Yeah.
it, Benjamin. It's a radically different from writing an essay, but
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Because like, how do you go about writing an essay, Benjamin?
Well, depends on what type of essay, but generally you come up with like the big overall theme of what you want to say, and then you come up with the evidence to back it up, and then you lay it out in a fashion.
Yeah, a little bit. Um, yeah, but, like journalism is like for a paper, it's like a structure, intro, conclusion, a couple
Eh,
body paragraphs. But
right.
journalism is like I base mine around the interviews. Like the
Hmm.
hardest part of journalism class is like the first 2 weeks of the month because we release once a month. So you
Right.
have to like pick a topic, you have to think of all these questions, go out, and then you have to gather all these interviews. It's like herding sheep, and then
Yeah.
you gotta parse through like let's say you have like five 15-minute interviews. I mean, how
Right.
much is that? That's like an hour or something
Hmm.
minutes.
Yeah.
You'll be
Hour
parsing
and a
through an
half. Yeah.
hour of recording or more for good quotes, and then you got to write it, and all within like 2 weeks. But once you
Yeah.
get those 2 weeks done, it's just you don't do anything in class. You do like a little peer editing, and then you're
Yeah.
set, man. It's so good.
So wait, Alex, I remember I actually did an interview for you for when we went to
Oh
DragonCon.
yeah, it's still on my
I remember.
phone.
Yeah. How did you end up writing that
Oh yeah, totally.
article? Yeah.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have it on me. Maybe I could
Right.
look it up and quote it here in a minute. But while I do that, let me say some of the other articles I've written. Um, Future technologies, where I wrote about like self-driving cars and 3D
Right.
printers stuff. We have a 3D printer at Wesleyan, which is pretty cool.
I know.
Oh, let me hear. Dragon. Yeah, here we go. DragonCon flies into Atlanta by Alex Bone.
I like that.
Yeah, it was a half article, but ooh, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, here goes. I attended the panel for Janet Varney, the voice actor for Cora, said Benjamin Barrett, a Norcross High School student. For every
Ooh.
hour, there are maybe 20 different things you could be doing at once. That was surprising to me. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Did you go up and ask her anything?
No, I did not.
Oh,
You
you didn't
remember
go
I
up
am
and propose
very
to her?
bashful.
Oh,
I was like, I can't do this.
poor Barrett.
I
I
know.
had to go
I
up
if
for
I had a
dinner.
really good question, I was thinking about it. Like, I think I could do it because then I would feel like I proud of myself. I'd ask something worth their time, but someone else asked the same question in the line earlier because I
Ah,
was gonna say like, what do you think of Kuvira and whatever, but someone already asked that, and then I was like, well, never mind. Then I guess it's a common question. I won't go up there.
well, you know what? We'll hashtag her or something on one of our videos because we're planning on doing one with Brett later about
Hmm.
Avatar, right?
Yeah, the whole universe,
Yeah.
Korra, the Last Airbender,
We'll
everything.
give her a shout out. She knows me. I talked to the voice actress for
Right.
Janet Varney. Yeah.
I still have
Uh,
the video that I sent you because I
oh yeah, that
videotaped
was
you.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went up and Yeah, I went up and I got a necklace and got it signed for Jen, girlfriend, and she was super excited about getting that. She still has it, she says. I asked her about it recently. But it was the last one. It was the one she was wearing actually, because I said I was a little bummed because I thought because she loves what's the polar dog? What's the polar dog
I
name?
feel terrible, but I don't know. I'm really bad with names of things. Um,
Oh, wait a
I can
second.
find it.
It's coming to me.
I'll know it the second.
Naga? Is it Naga?
I, wait a second.
It's
Yes,
it's Naga.
it is Naga. Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Anyway, yeah, and that was super cool. Had a conversation with her. But yeah, I wrote about that. I just wrote one about students who do business. Told you about that.
Right.
And I just published one about, geez, what was it? I published it like the other day.
Mhm.
Um, Truth be told, they all kind of blend together after a while. But yeah.
Right.
But why don't you mention some of the Vice documentaries you thought were interesting? Because they have one for everything.
Yeah. So I saw uh roughly three or four. I've seen some in the past, but I watched some recent ones, and I want to find the title because this was absolutely crazy. I have it in just 1 second. It was about a, I would call it a cult. Um,
Ooh,
so on top of this mountain in Britain, they have a group of people gather once a year to pray to these aliens. Okay, and they
yeah,
think that Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all of these famous religious characters were aliens sent to help us in the past. And so what they do is they all pray and chant, and they have this like box. And supposedly their prayers are like filling up this box, which is, they call it a battery. And once a year, like they take shifts and whatever over several days praying to it, and they finally let it go, and their happy thoughts and prayers go and like help the world and stuff. Very, very interesting.
wow. So when I felt happy yesterday, it was Jesus, alien Muhammad coming down from his essence coming from the box and just making me smile.
Yeah, and the prayers of all of the followers. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
The Vice reporter there was trying hard to,
Keep a
not.
straight face.
Yeah, I.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched one, I think it was Vice, might have been Vox, um, about this Russian guy who says he's Jesus.
Really.
Yeah, no, it's up
Hmm.
in the mountains somewhere in, oh geez, I don't even know. But he says, "Yep, I'm Jesus." And then he has this giant cult following that lives in an extremely traditional way. Kind of
Wow,
like the Amish, but if the Amish were like a
Russian
cult instead of
and a
just being
cult.
Amish.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, yeah, we train the women to be subservient to the men. Bring your girlfriend around sometime. Ha ha ha. And it's
Haha.
like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
ha ha ha.
No.
And he's usually never does interviews, but he said, yeah, I'll interview with Vice, which is weird.
Yeah.
But there's stories about people who go up there and then they like decide to stay forever.
Hmm?
The dude's clearly not Jesus.
Oh, of course.
He's clearly not Jesus.
Clearly.
Especially since like they're all he's Russian,
Yeah.
somewhere in Russia, and the Soviets, you know, obviously you can't really have religion in a
Yeah. Under
communist.
the
That seemed
USSR in the
historically, it's like
past.
they
Yeah.
don't like religion, and then once it broke down, and then religious freedom opened up, he suddenly realized he was Jesus as soon as religious freedom opened up.
He's like, as soon as the Soviet blockade on.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fun
yeah.
because he would
But
have been like killed probably. Yeah.
oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we want to, I have a list of some articles, but I also have a subsection called the weird shit. I mean the
Yes.
weird stuff. So it
Yeah.
seems like we're jumping straight into the weird stuff.
Yes.
I watched one that's about pretty unicorn people.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like this guy who realized it's like a hedonistic polygamous lifestyle where this
I
guy
see.
started this little subculture where he's like, I realized at Burning Man that I am a unicorn. and he lives like a
Hmm.
unicorn. So they constantly have these little horns on their heads, and they dress in like glitter and extremely flashy clothing, and they're like, unicorns are just all loving, so we don't tie ourselves down, man. And it's not
Hmm.
really like a cult or anything.
Yeah. They
It's more
just
like a weird
lifestyle. Yeah.
subculture with it kind of have a leader because he was like the first guy who discovered it. But the thing is, watching him was like kind of
Painful.
painful because you
Yeah.
can really tell that he's not happy. He
Yeah.
was I really feel bad for him because throughout the thing he was like he breaks up with one of his flings or dates or whatever. I don't know how it is in a polygamous relationship,
Yeah.
but it said
Partners.
it really hit him hard. So he goes on this like journey, and then he's like, "Yeah, I thought I'd find something, and then I didn't really." And he talks about how hard it is sometimes, and it's like I'm pretty sure this guy is cripplingly depressed, but
Yeah.
he did stop being an alcoholic because of his unicorn lifestyle. So
Well, so there's a plus. It's doing good things for
I
him
don't know.
somewhat.
It's got to be something good in being a unicorn.
Yeah. They don't
Yeah.
drink.
All right, your turn, Benjamin. Give me something freaky.
Yes. So I was watching one. Um, do you know what an empath is, Alex?
Empath.
Yes.
No, I have
Okay.
no idea.
So this whole interview or series of interviews was interviewing people who claim to be empaths, and their whole thing
Empath.
is that they can feel and like sense other people's emotions.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Like
she
that
interviewed.
scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with the
Mhm.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
exactly
about.
like her. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so these different people that she met had varying degrees of like seeming like they knew what they were talking about versus didn't, which was
Yeah.
fascinating. So like there were some people that were like selling their services and like the guy was like talking to people and they're like, that's like sort of what I'm feeling." Like when they gave him
Yeah.
his feeling. Yeah. Um
Yeah.
and even the vice reporter person said like, "Well, it seems like he's sort of taking advantage of these people." Like when
Yeah.
like um but for some of the people it's like I don't know, I think that they were happy the way that they were, like that they could feel those other things and they weren't trying to take advantage of people. In terms of like whether I personally believe these people could feel other people's feelings, I don't know. One of the people who was interviewed talked about Alex, do you know what mirror neurons are?
Yeah, it's like it's like an empathetic thing, am I right?
Yeah, well, it works in emotions, but also in physical actions.
Like a yawn or something, right?
Yeah, um, but so like you could even so let's say you're a basketball player and you see another basketball player shooting a basket, and then you in your head picture shooting a basket, and you're looking at this other person do it. Like your mirror neurons can like match what they're doing.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah, I know
that.
what you're talking
But
about, yeah.
yeah, but some of the empaths, or at least this one guy was explaining, well, it's just like mirror neurons. So I think it'd be interesting to try to see, like, is that maybe how we get empathy, where we can feel their pain, and like because we're actually feeling some of their pain when we see painful things happen. I don't know. It'd be interesting,
I
but
mean, when you described it, I was like, they can feel other people's emotions. I was like, well, yeah, I figure most people can discern and empathize with
this was
how
like
people
someone
are
walks into
feeling.
the room and they say nothing, and they're like, "You are feeling very sad today."
I know, there's a lot of subconscious body language, though.
Yeah.
If some
So
dude walks in, his shoulders are a little slumped,
yeah,
maybe
but
some
this
like
guy was like
Sherlock, maybe
closing
some
his eyes.
Sherlock level.
Yeah, there's this guy closing his eyes and like fidgeting around and stuff, and I was like, "Are you okay?" He looked like he was having a seizure. But
Yeah,
so I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to do some more scientific studies and to see like, well, how much can you like tell, like actually like feel like the emotions of a room? That'd be fascinating. So
totally,
I don't know. It
man.
was just interesting to see those interviews. Yeah.
It sounds a lot like fortune telling in the way
Yeah.
that some people sell it as a service,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like a skeptical thing a lot of time.
Yeah, and it may depend on who's doing it. Like there may be someone who's like actually able to tell signs about people through body language or mirror neurons, and there's people that may just be making it up. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. Babies. Reborn babies. Sorry.
What?
It's just hard for me to say
Reborn?
that out loud with my voice.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
Alex, tell me what this is.
so it's not literally reborn babies.
Okay.
Okay, it's these baby dolls that are extremely lifelike. I mean, like,
Hmm.
oh my God. It's really scary how lifelike they are. They're
Like Uncanny
silicone.
Valley scary.
It's a little bit. It's almost real enough to just look like a baby, but then
Hmm.
they just don't move at all, and it's like it looks like a dead baby.
Oh.
Um, it's silicone. It looks, it feels, it actually smells like a baby. They put these oils in it to make it smell like a baby.
Hmm.
And it was a documentary about the people who buy them, which are usually much older people, probably their mid to late 40s or later, uh,
Yeah.
who probably didn't have the chance to have a child or something like that. But they just treat them like they're real babies. They speak to them like
So
they're
this is
babies,
like
sing to them
the
like they're
science
babies.
experiment you get in biology class where they give you an egg and tell you to protect it, except
Oh
for like
my
on a much
God.
bigger scale.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like that, except a lot more uncanny.
Yeah.
Um, they're not like I don't think they're not crazy. I mean, they know that they're dolls. It's just
Right.
they basically role play having a baby because they can't have one for real, which is kind of makes me feel bad for them, you know. But
Yeah. That
I don't
is.
know. The very first shot of the documentary was them looking through a catalog online, and it was like a French shot, like of the back of the laptop and their faces as they look at it. Like, ooh, that one looks sweet. Yeah, it says it's pedicured. Smell. It has a smell, and
Mhm.
it kind of. And they're talking about babies, and it just kind of seems like, like a serial killer um,
Oh
movie or
yeah.
so. It
Oh
looks like a
god.
horror movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they described it as a quirk when they were talking about I guess their hobby. I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyway, I had to mention that at some point
Yeah.
because
Reborn
it just
baby. Ugh.
felt weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. You got any thoughts on that, or are we just
I just
is it
looked
just a
up a
spectacle?
picture of it. Oh,
Ugh.
oh my god.
Yeah, look up. You can look up baby dolls or something like that.
Oh, the eyes.
Yeah, it looks so. Oh, jeez. Yeah, reborn dolls. Yeah, folks at home, give it a peek.
Why do they call them that though? I mean, it already makes you like feel weird.
I remember I went to like this place called Camp Hope,
Hmm.
not to be confused with Camp Pope.
Right, right.
Um, and there was some sort of biblical quote about not literally being reborn by um, crawling into your mother's womb or something
Hmm.
like that. It's not literal. This makes it sound very literal.
Yeah, it does. Wait, Alex, you know what this is
Yeah.
reminding me of?
What's that?
Um, I don't remember it super clearly, but there's this case of someone where Candice Shoemaker, um,
Candice Shoemaker?
I think that's her
I
name.
wonder what she does for a living.
Yeah, but she, it, I think they adopted this child. They may not have. It was either her actual daughter or adopted daughter, but that doesn't tell you a lot. But regardless, so there was some they like she was pretty much like abused and neglected as a child, and she wasn't doing what her parents thought she should, so they were going to like have her be reborn or something.
Oh
I know
no.
the story is like so much better that not better, I mean like so much more detail that I'm giving here, but
Yeah.
essentially they trap her in this thing. They put like blankets over her and like pillows and weights and cover her and like push down on her, um and like essentially she has to like force her way out to be born again, and like well she starts struggling to breathe and like can't get out of this thing, and she's screaming and they keep pushing down, um
Christ.
and she ends up dying. They kill her
Yeah, no
and she
kidding.
slowly suffocates to
Jeez.
death, um
Why?
and under the pressure and everything she's like crushed too. It's like um and it's apparently part of some therapy or something. There's some therapy about like having people like being reborn like can help reorient you or something. It's so it's bizarre.
Mm,
I know it's like,
uh,
but yeah, they killed her. Yeah,
I mean, I
the
could
reason
see the reborn thing as like some sort of weird. I'm assuming it's like they describe it as some sort of weird Freudian. It's like
Freudian, yeah.
coming out of a womb again,
Hmm.
but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Sounds weird to
I
me.
first heard of this because of Matt Pat on Game Theory, where he actually, I'm
Game,
dead
but
serious.
she died. But that's just a
A
theory.
theory,
A
game.
game theory. Oh my
No,
god.
but
Yeah, yeah.
apparently someone made a game, and I wish I knew what game it was, but it's been like years since I watched this video. But someone made a game where this whole tragedy was put as the dark part of this game
Oh,
in the back, yeah, where they actually use this as inspiration for their game.
I don't know if I want to be playing a game about being birthed.
But it's not. It's like it is and it isn't. So it's like about this other stuff, but then you
Is it
find
like
all
a
these
metaphor
things.
or something? Or is it like
Yeah,
an investigation
but there's
thing?
also characters. I don't.
Yeah.
It's if I remember correctly. It's like Pokemon related. It's weird where you like fight
It's
these
like
monsters
Pokemon?
and
Okay, I'm sorry, I
I
didn't
need.
expect that.
I know it's like Candice Shoe. Let's see.
Wow.
It's
So do you have to like, oh geez, I don't even want to make a joke about it.
I know.
I don't know. I'm planning on showing this to my friends.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Honestly, yeah. Well, it was pieced together by the internet
Yeah.
apparently.
The
Like
piece
he
together.
didn't
What do you
come out and
mean, like
say
a?
it. Well, like it's not inherently in the game. Like you don't know it's about.
But people could tell that it was inspired or
Yeah,
something.
people did research and they found out that it connected to this
Oh
like
wow. Can't hide anything from the
tragedy.
internet these days.
I know. I wish I could find the video. Anyway, we'll have to attach a link or something. But yeah.
Jeez, man. I had something to say, but I, I totally forgot. That
Sorry.
caught me
Yeah,
way off guard. Oh yeah, it was about
I know.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me drop a truth bomb on you, Benjamin. As Spanish themes for which one was it? I think Fire Red and Leaf Green or something has
Mhm.
Spanish themes. Uh, Articuno, Zapdos, Mole Trace. Also, Zapdos is Spanish for shoes.
Yes,
Don't
zapatos.
know what that means. Or should we say Zapados? Am I right?
Zapatos.
Yeah, over in Spain.
Zapatos.
But
Right, right.
yeah, I don't know. I dropped that bomb on someone recently. They were just
Ooh.
crazed by it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it compares to like uterus Pokemon or whatever the heck you described to me.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on a little bit.
Yeah.
I got two about guys who eat. I got three about people who eat strange things. You
Yeah.
did an interview with a cannibal. I'm assuming you ran across that one out in the field there.
I
Looking at.
haven't,
You
but
haven't?
I've
It's one of the really popular ones.
yeah.
This guy, I think he's was it Chinese? I think he's
Mhm.
Chinese. He was
Ugh.
somewhere in the east. He classic serial killer. Like you hear these really unsettling stories about his childhood, about how he's like sexual tendencies and how he like bullied animals or something like that. And later he ate a woman over the course of 3 days, and then got out over like a loophole in the law, and he's free to this day. Um, and he
Oh
talks about
God.
how I don't know. It's been a while since I watched it. I looked up a ton of stuff last night to prepare for this, but I had already watched that a while ago. But
Mhm.
the dude is just like, I don't know. Sometimes the pictures look like he's just wearing someone else's face, which I know he
Oh,
was a different. I know he's a different kind of crazy than that. But I don't
yeah.
know. Just something. I find it weird. There's never like a serial killer where it's like just a normal everyday person. Maybe it's just because of the way you have that knowledge, they seem different to you. But
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
usually serial killers are psychopaths and they just tend to be just different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something just as gross, maybe a little less. There's a guy who
Mhm.
eats roadkill.
Okay.
That's it.
I think
They
there's like
just
a term
interviewed
for that
some
if you
dude who
only
ate
eat
roadkill.
roadkill. I think there's a
There's a
term.
term for that?
Yes, I think so.
Weird. Well, this dude was talking. Oh, jeez. This guy was talking about how he trolls along the roads looking for fresh catches, and he like, oh, I don't know. Like, why don't you just go hunting if you really want to eat a wild animal?
Yeah.
That raccoon is not looking very appetizing. Ugh.
No.
You got one?
Oh, well, I was just gonna follow up on the one you just said.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I met someone, right?
yeah.
And so he did missionary work in Papua New Guinea.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so he actually, I believe in Papua New Guinea, cannibalism is still a thing. It still exists, at least when he was there, which may have been a while ago.
I didn't know it was in
Um,
Papua New Guinea. Wow.
yeah. Um, and here's the thing, though. Actually, this is a type of cannibalism I can get behind. That sounds terrible. But I can, and here's why: it's part of the culture. They only eat people who are already dead. Okay, so after a battle or after someone was killed in an accident or whatever, they would honor them by eating their dead bodies. Plus, like as a source of food too.
I can't get behind it.
I mean, I would say I don't endorse it, is what I mean. But what I mean is I'm not like grossed out by that. If that makes, I'm not personally.
I'm still grossed out by it, but I hear what you're saying, I guess.
Yeah. But like I don't know, I feel like in a culture you could grow like that's something you would honor them by
What
doing
about
whatever.
what about the people in like Central Africa, in the war-torn areas, who like eat the hearts of the other of like the guys they're fighting for? You ever hear about
Um
that?
yeah, I guess it's different there because you're eating your enemies, where in this one you only eat
Just
your
eat your
own dead.
friends.
You only yeah. Put it
Okay.
that way.
All right, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's sort of like it's like in I don't know, but like seppuku, that's where you'd kill yourself. But if you had
Yeah.
someone else help you, you wanted like your best friend to chop off your head or whatever.
I guess so. Just I feel like there's a
So like
difference
you want your
between
best
like
friend to eat.
assisted suicide and like eat my body after I die.
No, there is a big difference. I'm just
I know you're saying. I know you know there's a difference. I just
yeah,
I can't get I can't understand eating people regardless of context. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe I'm too far removed. Maybe I'm not
Well, no,
removed enough. I don't know.
I don't think we should anymore. If people have like actual food and people aren't starving, and like you're immersed in Western culture, then no,
Uh,
I don't think you should be eating other
how
people
about
who are
how
dying.
about dogs? I watched a Vice. I think it was. I don't know if it was Vice or Vox, but it was a documentary about this place called Yulin in
Hmm.
China where they do eat dogs. Like I know it's a
Hmm.
stereotype, but literally they have a dog eating festival, and they consider them like cattle, like eating a cow or something.
Yeah.
But they said, oh, why are you giving dogs special treatment? Cows plow fields, that's useful. And there's just and the lady goes into like the meat markets, and it shows
Hmm.
just like them chopping up dogs.
Oh God.
And they use like every bit of the dog. And they also show the places where they sell them, where they're in these little cages, like several dogs crammed into a little cage, and they're whimpering and crying. And there's one that was like a golden retriever, and the
Hmm.
reporter shook hands with the dog, like shake. And she's like, "Oh, you want to eat that one?" It's like, "You're selling this one? I thought this one was a pet." She's like, "Oh, it could be a pet. Do you want to buy a pet? Do you want to buy the your dinner?"
Oh my God.
I don't know. I get that I get how they see it like a cow or something, but I don't know, Benjamin. Dogs have been right up there with humans since like
Yep.
we go way back.
Yeah.
It feels
We
really
do.
screwed up to eat a dog,
We've
man.
changed their evolution. Like 100%. We have actually changed who they are because the ones that dealt with us and were our friends survived, and the ones that didn't
I mean the
died.
amount of I guess empathy between human and dog is really huge. People
Yeah.
can read dogs' faces
Yeah.
almost as well as humans, and when you yawn, your dog it
Hmm.
spreads to your dog too.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If your dog yawns, you're probably gonna yawn.
Right.
And they've
Um.
helped us so much, more than just plowing a field. I mean, they herd sheep. Um, I guess emotionally, people have support dogs. Blind people have support dogs to help them move around. Police investigators use them to sniff
Canine
out
unit,
things.
yeah.
Canine units. There's so much they do for us. I don't know. It's horrifying to see all these poor little puppies stuffed in this cage, raised for slaughter. Ugh.
Yeah. So like to here's my thing on it. I think that I mean, obviously I don't think we should do it here in America, and I don't think we should eat dogs anywhere, really. Because just as you've said, they have, they're so much more useful. They've been our friends for, hundreds of years and maybe thousands. But ethically, I don't think it's any better or worse than if we're eating a cow. But that doesn't mean I would say I would want, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think we should, but I don't think it's any worse. So I can see like where they're coming from because it is just animal, but it's dogs.
I mean, I also see where they're coming from, but I can't. I really can't
I would vote
see that.
against having people eat
I
dogs.
can't. I'm not for it at all.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I'm not
think.
for
I
it.
think
I'm
they
not
need to
for
be
any of
like.
these things. No.
I think they need to be like stopped. I don't. It was like 2012 when they did it. I don't know how
Yeah,
how the festival's looking now, but I mean shut it down and tell them
yeah.
no or whatever.
I guess
I
my
really
only
I don't
point.
I'm a softie, Benjamin. I can't
Yeah,
watch those dogs. Maybe I'm a hypocrite for eating
for cow.
hamburgers every other
Yeah,
day or
because that's
whatever,
what I was gonna say. Is
but
it's like ethically, it shouldn't be any
I
different.
feel like it is though. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you could argue if you want to look at utilitarian, right? If you want to look at like its use, well, dogs are so much more useful for us. They can do so many amazing things. They can make people happy. They can serve, in the police. They can detect bombs. They can help, service dogs. They can do all sorts of things. So, in terms of utility, like if you want to go from that aspect, and I mean, our shared bondage together over thousands of years, you could use that too.
Oh yeah, audience,
Oh,
we're gonna do an episode at one of these years about like video games when you get to choose your decisions and stuff. Benjamin, you make the weirdest decisions.
I do make the weirdest
It's not
decision.
even weird. It's just like the half the time your decisions are like the one that nobody did or something.
Yeah, I do try to be like, I like to pick things that other people don't pick, and then every now I just pick the thing I want to do, and it's like a
Yeah.
mixture of both. But whatever I pick, I I can live with it, if that makes any sense. So if
Yeah.
I'm doing something really bad, I'm telling you, I can live with doing this. So
Digitally anyway.
yeah, digitally.
Digitally,
Um,
yeah. I
Right,
don't know.
right.
I'm a big softie, Benjamin. I got a big soft heart. I can't
Yeah.
stand that. Oh, that kind of
Ooh.
stuff.
So fun, a little bit of fun trivia, not trivia, but just fun facts.
Fun fact me. Go ahead.
Yeah. I so my favorite animal is the fox.
Oh
I just
yeah,
love
yeah.
foxes. But anyway, so talking about, dogs evolving over time. Well, someone was wondering, domestication that implements itself physically in the genes of animal.
Yeah.
Um Foxes, there was a Russian scientist working on domesticating foxes. And his work, he was actually able within his lifetime to see real changes in foxes. And what he did is he would rank them by their aggressiveness versus like their kindness, um, and like these traits, like how friendly they were to humans. And he would like because he had his stock of foxes, and he would just breed them and then take the best, like least aggressive ones, and then breed those, and then just keep going. And within X number of generations, they started having physical differences from other foxes. They had more floppy tails, or floppy ears, like the same doggy like tail. They would act and behave more like we think dogs do. And it was like watching how in history, like this is exactly what happened to dogs, except for this is just like someone purposefully selecting rather than natural selection. So it was moving much faster. But it was like it's crazy.
That'd be super cool to have a pet fox. I know
I know.
there's very famous YouTube fox that was very cute that everyone
Mhm.
loved.
I think
Um,
I watched a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we probably watched the same video, but
Foxes. Yeah.
that would be totally cool.
I know.
Was he talking about um a sample size or like the population within this area of Russia? How big was the
So he owned them. I don't
yeah.
exactly know how many he
So
had.
it
He
was
may
like a
have had a
specific
hundred
it was a specific oh okay, so it was a number of
samples.
foxes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had
It's a
X number of
sample.
foxes, and he would bring more in, I believe, because otherwise you just start just getting insane inbreeding. I
Yeah.
think, but he would bring more in. But he had his population that was like each like he would get four groups out of the previous set, and then he would like find the best ones from those four groups and form another group and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, the domestication as like a genetic thing is it's extremely true. I mean everyone knows that. I watched this video the other night when I should have been going to sleep. I was watching these cute videos, and one of them was this farmer or something, some guy out in the country, and he was talking about how to handle kittens,
Hmm.
wild kittens, because he said people just drop their cats off on the property because they can't take care of them, and
Yeah.
you grab them, you wear a glove and you just grab them and you put them down and you just start petting them, and then
Yeah.
after a while they're your best friend. Like he like seriously, with less than 5 minutes, he grabs a cat that is like absolutely trying to just rip his throat out, little kitten, and
Yeah.
and after like 3 to 5 minutes of petting, it doesn't try to run away and it's just totally cool with him. I don't know how he
Well,
does it.
yeah.
It's a cat
Wow.
whisperer. But going back to so bringing it to something a little more real, with China again. There's this one that this guy. Okay, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
This guy went to China to talk about their fascination with white people.
Interesting.
Apparently, there's a huge demand for white people in China. It's like an exotic foreign thing, and
Weird. Like
this
just in
guy
general, or for like.
just white people, Benjamin. That's exactly what it sounds like, which is weird because it's the only place in the world where I've heard of white people being cool. I mean, I've never been cool outside of
That's funny.
anywhere, but it's kind of it is surreal to watch. This reporter goes in and he lives there for a while and does a couple jobs. You go there and you get like a guy who has connections who will get you some jobs, and they basically hand you a fake I guess fake licenses or whatever,
Hmm.
fake identities every other day. And this guy, he was a greeter in a subway in a big mascot costume. He hosted a fashion show. Um, he was a butler for a hotel because it was really cool to have a white butler there, very fancy. And he never had he spoke English the whole time,
Yeah.
which is weird because it's like I don't know. Like I thought you had to be able to speak the language in this
Mandarin.
country,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was bizarre. He would just get jobs just right off the bat for all these weird things. And
Yeah.
the really fascinating one was they interviewed a guy who basically does it for a living, just all these odd jobs. And he was going in to pretend he was pretending to be a doctor to open this facility.
Right.
This hospital went, we want a white doctor to help to present this hospital, and so they said, yeah, we can get you a white doctor. Hey man, can you pretend to be a white doctor for like a day? And this guy was like this really eccentric old guy. He looked like he was 50 or something. um, they walked into his hotel room and he was getting dressed, so he had like his underwear on, and
Yeah.
he moved these flowers he had prepared, and he made a joke about deflowering the flowers because they were on his bed, and he's like
Yeah.
he's a really wacky dude. And then
Yeah.
he goes up and he just pretends to be a doctor. So he's like he shakes the hands of the actual real life doctors, Chinese doctors who open the facility, and go, um, I'd like to present the grand opening of the urinology and erectile dysfunction clinic. And then he cuts the ribbon, and that's literally what the hospital was. And he goes up there and gives a speech about, yeah, it's one of the difficulties is finding new ways to diagnose. And he's like reading a script. It's clearly he's not
Right.
a
Right.
doctor,
Yeah.
but the house was filled for this guy. and no one's heard of him before. He's a fake doctor, and the house is filled, and it's kind of screwed up, Benjamin,
Yeah.
because well, I mean, it's awesome, but it's kind of
Right.
but it's screwed up um because China went from like nothing. China went from like way behind to like front of the line really fast. Like economically, they're one of the most powerful countries, if not the
Right.
most. I mean, U.S. is how many dollars in debt to them?
Yeah.
They have their
It's like it.
yeah,
I was gonna say the metrics aren't completely based off of how much we're in debt to them, but us being in debt to them does inflate their number really high. Yeah.
yeah, it's huge, and they went from low tech to high tech really fast.
Bikes, cars, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Within, yeah.
and this they talked to this journalist, this Chinese journalist, and he said it's this like fascination. It's because they were so behind and then so in front so fast that people from other countries are like really high demand, high quality for them. I mean, this guy was getting hired by rich Chinese teenagers to hang out with them to make them look cool, and I don't know, it's just surreal the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes me that makes me think of where I think like I was watching videos where it's talking about like Asian women. They were talking about their experiences with dating or whatever in America. I can't remember, but it was like there's this fascination. Like people get like Asian fever, and like they feel very weird when they meet like these people. Like people like these
yeah.
white people just walk up to them and then they just want to date them because they're Asian, not because of who they are or
I know
whatever.
exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, and they get really creeped out because then the white person only wants to speak Japanese or only wants to speak Chinese, and they're like you
That's
realize I'm
super weird.
American,
It's
right?
super weird.
I know it is super weird.
And
It makes me think of that. It's like, oh god.
it's totally that. It's the reverse of that. The same
Yeah,
exact thing is happening on the other side of the world, just
yeah.
reverse. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Did you know that there's this massive bandwave on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds,
hmm
and like 90 to 95% or something crazy like that were from China. And
Wow.
apparently, and I was looking at it, the discussion in the forum for it, and apparently some people over there were saying these these cafes sometimes advertise that as like a perk to going to their gaming cafe. It's because we can get you cheats, and it's like it's a
hmm
cafe account, so you don't lose anything, which is weird. And
Yeah,
also, I think personally, I think it has to do with the whole um, 0 to 100 in terms of tech, because
yeah.
over England, America, Europe in
Europe.
general, there is a very long people acclimating to it, kind of an etiquette being formed in chat rooms and all that, and then over there it's just like boom,
Trailblazing they're having.
get all this crazy stuff really fast. So it's just like there's no precedent for anything. But
hmm
yeah. So if I
Yeah.
ever hit a really hard time, I'll just go to China and
Just
just
gonna try
and host beauty pageants or whatever.
to. That's
Pretend to be
true.
a doctor. But that was
That's
bizarre.
true.
You got an article?
Um. Well, I watched one of their videos. It was talking about in America. It was let me see if I can find the title. But essentially it was talking about a right wing like militia group like in
I
the
saw that
mountains.
one.
You
Yeah.
did?
The
Yeah.
3%ers or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, because they were talking about like, oh, only 3% of the people in the American Revolutionary War. And I think the vice person like said this fact is like not true or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they said like this is actually not right information because it's closer to it isn't it closer like a third, a third, a third, like a third of the Americans fought or a third of the Americans were patriots and most of those fought, a third of the Americans were more loyalist, and then a third didn't really care either way.
Yeah.
Um but anyway, yeah, I saw that and I found that was fascinating. I mean, I guess I assumed stuff like that existed, but I didn't realize like
It was in Georgia, man.
yeah, like it
It
in
was
my own state.
Yeah, it was over here.
Yeah, and like where they're like preparing like doing roadblocks and like in the event of like I guess I don't know if the
Zombie
government was taken
apocalypse?
over by tyranny or if there was a zombie apocalypse like
I
I
guess
don't
so.
know.
Yeah.
It was a little like frightening to me though. I was like,
I wasn't frightened because I don't think they're gonna. They're very isolated. They're not gonna go crazy on anyone. But it
yeah,
was. I don't know. It was weird. It was the little kids, especially. They
yeah,
were like
well them, yeah,
very gung ho. I don't know.
gun ho, haha, no,
Gung ho, but gun ho.
no, I
Yeah.
know you said gung ho and I said gun ho,
There were a
yeah,
couple gun hos walking around.
yeah. Oh my god.
uh,
Uh, but no, and then they talked about, wasn't there the thing where there was that one guy who used to be in their group that like it showed he was like on TV like
yeah, he
beating up this
beat
person?
up
Yeah.
someone. Yeah.
And it
And
was
then
like
but then he
he
said
disavowed him.
they weren't hard enough. They weren't true enough to themselves, so he left or something like that. So I
Yeah.
remember that. So he was like the really hardcore 3%. He was the 3% of the 3%.
It was yeah.
Yeah. Look
No.
out. This guy's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was just sort of just like I don't I don't see when they would ever have to use those skills because they don't seem to want to join the military. So I don't know. I
They
mean, I guess
seemed to
that's
they
cool
were
if they're
talking
doing their
that one
thing,
lady
but
was talking about her like the next generation or something, but I don't think you're
yeah.
going to use these skills at all in
No.
this
Well,
world.
yeah, a lot of people they have this big like notion of like, oh no, like, if the government goes evil and like turns against us, we have to rise up and use our guns to fight it and take it over. But I don't know, to me it's like first of all, it's like violence in the future and conflict, it's going to be either A, cyber, or B, drone strikes, or like C, missiles. Like men on
Yeah.
the ground is only going to happen way after these first things. So if the U.S. government decided it wanted to take over, it like, I mean, I don't even know. It already owns all the land. I don't. I guess put us into tyranny or
No,
like
I li-
overthrow. Like
I
it wouldn't. We wouldn't be able to do anything about that.
I agree with what you said. It would probably be stuff surrounding that. It would probably especially like I mean information security is huge nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean they have entire shows based around that. Have you seen Mr.
Yeah.
Robot?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did I don't know I think it was Vox I don't know if it was Vice again but
Mhm.
they interviewed this guy who owns Mega Upload. Have you ever used Mega Upload, Benjamin? Probably
I've
not.
heard of it, so
I,
but I don't think I've ever used it now.
it's a file sharing site and it's
Mhm.
everything's encrypted and they can't tell what's being shared. So when something if something bad gets shared or whatever, they 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 basically crack down on this guy. When they interviewed him, he was still under house arrest after like years. But the thing is, he literally has no clue what's being sent through. It's like someone they compared it to using a postal service and then
Mhm.
arresting the guys in charge of the post office when someone sends
For
when
someone
someone
else's pack.
sends a bad package. Um, especially since everything's encrypted, and it's secure.
Right.
They can't see what's inside, and it was never the
Mhm.
intention to share pirate. It was mainly pirating was what they were worried about, but this guy is like he's a big fat guy who's very softly spoken and likes making music and he's the number one Call of Duty player in the world and he talks about hanging out
Mhm.
with his niece and nephew and stuff and it's like this guy is the chillest dude ever. This guy this guy's he's not like hey let's make a pirating site.
Yeah.
He was very worried about information security. Um, There's one that I wanted to mention about it was titled Japanese Love Interests or something,
Mhm.
and basically it's like emotional prostitution.
I think I've heard of this. Yeah, I may have seen this video.
Yeah, you know about how in Japan there's just an incredibly low birth rate right now.
Yeah, because
People,
everyone's in the workforce. Yeah.
yeah, no one's making love or getting married or anything. There's
Yeah.
a much lower number, and I think there's
Right.
more old people than young people or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't know
They
if
also
I'm
have all these like
blowing it
cultural
out of
things where it's
proportion or
like
not.
they can't like they need to provide for themselves and do these other things, but it's like dating and talking about emotional things is also like more taboo, and it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really hard barrier to get past, and you can they have these cafes for both men and women where they can go in and hire someone of the opposite sex to like
Hmm.
basically pretend to be their date, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, whatever. Um, they have guys can hire girls and just cuddle with them and have them clean their ears, which is like
Yeah.
very, yeah. Um, and you just they had this great, oh my God, they had this great line where the Vice interviewer was cuddling. They go in and they purchase the services,
Hmm.
and the girl, the woman who interviewed the guy who basically pretends to be your boyfriend for the night, and you just sit and
Hmm.
like cuddle. Um, he gave he was talking about it like normal, yeah, yeah. And then the guy, when he was cuddling with the girl, he talked about like, yeah, on Christmas or Valentine's Day when you see couples walking around, how does that make
Yeah.
you feel? And she's like, sometimes I just want them to die. And
What?
they're holding and they're cuddling together on a bed, and she's like super cute, and she's like, it just makes me so angry. It just, it just threw me
Yeah.
off. But
Yeah. You're like, boy.
well, after World War II, they got really westernized,
Hmm.
and
They're
all the
they were already moving in that direction, but it only accelerated. Yeah.
yeah, it got crazy westernized, yeah. And that old, the old style belief, it doesn't just like go away. I mean, it's not even necessarily a bad thing. It's just uh, it's so integral, and it translated to being a company man. So
Yeah.
being loyal to your company and spending your whole life at one company, and your son is going to work in this company too. And there was a lot of pressure, and people just started withdrawing from society. I mean, that's you see stuff like otakus. You know about otakus, Benjamin.
Mm.
They're people who just kind of swear off society. They're like, I'm just gonna live as a hermit in the middle of a city, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure around that. Um, Seppuku, I mean, there's that suicide forest. Oh Christ. What was that thing that happened recently in the suicide forest? You know what I'm
Yeah.
some
With Jake
video.
Paul.
Oh God, what
Where
an
I
asshole.
watched it. Yeah,
Wow.
essentially they were just making fun of and like, oh, we're gonna go camp out in the scary forest, ooh, blah blah blah, and they actually saw a guy's dead body. Well, they started flipping out and then filming as they walked over there. I
Didn't
think they
they
blurred
crack
out
a
his
bunch of
face.
jokes?
Yeah, they started making some jokes a little bit
Jesus
later.
Christ, these guys
Yeah,
are retarded. Wow.
yeah,
Wow,
and
good job,
they
Jake.
filmed him. They just blurred out his face, but they still showed his body and showed everything and like and then they showed him and he's like joking, he's like he's like don't come here or something, like I don't know, he just made jokes stuff and it was like
And he's wearing that
everyone got mad and
stupid
rightfully
hat.
so.
Oh. Yeah, no, I remember seeing his response video or something, and he said like, "Oh, I don't do it for the views. I don't do it for that. I it's like, well, it's your job, man, clearly." And then oh, jeez, I don't know. And there's another video where he was acting like a total jackass to
Hmm.
everyone. He was like making fun of Japanese people walking around the streets. He like smashed a Game Boy,
Yeah,
and then went to the clerk and say, "No worky, no worky," or something like that. It's like,
no, he's
God
just an ass
damn.
in general.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, also after he said later, he's like, I apologize for my actions, people shouldn't defend them, blah blah blah. But then he later tweeted something, within a couple weeks, like joking about eating a Tide Pod or something. And it's like,
Okay, well, granted, I've made a bunch of jokes about eating
no, no,
Tide
no, right,
Pods.
right. That's
I've
fine. But the point there, it was in bad taste when he. Oh no, that's a bad pun. Um, his joke was in bad
Ah,
taste,
okay, yeah,
but
yeah, bad
literally,
taste.
um, but his thing is he talked about he made this whole thing as like it should be a serious matter, all these other things, but then he jokes about that when he just said that he was not going to like that it's a serious issue. It like what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I know what you're
It,
talking
it's
about.
different for like it's different like if we don't have that expectation. Well, he has this like there's expectation. If you said that you're against these things and are
Publicly, especially, yeah.
yeah, and then you make this joke and it's like, well, I don't even know if it was a joke. Maybe he was attacking someone else. I don't remember, but it just wasn't nice. So
I
it's
don't
like you
know.
could tell he's not serious in his apology.
He seems like, oh God, he seems like the epitome of what kids 10 years old like nowadays.
Yeah.
We like the flash. I don't know. Ugh.
Hmm.
Well, what was I? Oh, I was just thinking about something. Yeah, the Tide Pod challenge. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I guess it
Yeah.
looks like a big gusher is what it looks like.
Yeah, I guess
We
so.
talked about it in econ or something. We were talking about Super Bowl commercials, and someone mentioned Tide Ad, and
Yeah.
man, we had the funniest conversation. I don't know. It's just guys, don't eat a Tide Pod.
Yeah.
You'll die. You'll die.
Yeah.
If you what happens is you bite into it, and then it tastes horrible, and when it's halfway down your throat, you like breathe in really strangely or cough up, and it goes into your lung, and then you have Tide in your lung.
Literally
When you
poison.
have water, yeah, it's poison.
Yeah.
When you have water in your lungs, you can like die. It was like when you have Tide in your lungs, you're definitely screwed.
Yeah. I think
Come
they
on,
changed the
guys. Just go
color
back to
of them.
planking or something. Come on.
Yeah. I think that Tide actually changed the color of the pods, like
Yeah.
to make them less appealing.
Yeah,
Like I
we
actually think they did.
they must have. They must have been doing everything to stop that.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
so I found what he tweeted. He said, swallowing one Tide Pod per retweet, and then another time he tweeted, when the doctor asked how many Tide Pods I ate, I told the truth, 72 boxes of them. I've
nice.
already eaten 10 Tide Pods, and I'm still alive. Hashtag immortal. I don't know.
Yeah, that explains why he acts like that. He
Yeah.
probably went down wrong. But we talked about some of the Super Bowl commercials. We like analyzed them, and
Mhm.
Tide really they dug themselves out of the hole
Mhm.
with their ads. It's like I feel bad for Tide, man. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
These
It's
kids are just
yeah.
stupid. They're stupid as hell, and
Yeah.
they gotta deal with a PR backlash based on how are they gonna fix the stupidity of people, man.
Yeah. I
So
feel like they had to buy the Super Bowl ad to try to get some positive PR.
and they did because we
Yeah.
talked about it and solid, and it took some of the attention off.
Mhm.
Luckily, these memes only last like a minute. They last like a week and then it's done.
Yeah,
And
and
then if
then
you mention it, you're
better.
not cool anymore.
Right.
Yeah, like us
Gotta
right
keep
now.
up with the time. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're behind
this
the
is
time.
ancient news in internet terms. That's like it's like 100 years.
Yeah.
I got like one more on me if we want to
All
talk
right.
about that. Traveler's Guide to North Korea. I just really want to talk about North Korea.
Uh-huh.
He went up there and like whenever a journalist or anyone goes up there, they're treated to this. Everything's acting.
Sanitized version. Yeah.
No, but it's everything's. He talks about. He especially talked about how everything's so empty. You walk along the
Mhm.
streets and there's no traffic. It's a big empty city.
Yeah.
When you go into a restaurant, they have like all these plates set out, going like, yeah, look how rich in food we are. But if you
Yeah.
walked in with 7 people, there would be 7 tables set out, or seven seats set up for the entire restaurant.
Mhm.
And it's like it's clearly so obviously choreographed. He said it's unnerving. You feel like you feel really freaked out the entire time. And oh geez, it was just so weird.
Yeah.
Uh, how about those Olympics? They went to the Olympics, but I think it
Yeah,
was
they
just a
did.
PR stunt. They were
Mhm.
trying to raise they were trying to
Yeah,
get
with the
people to look at them.
cheerleaders that are being forced to be there.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
people just like forgetting that they have these concentration camps and like
Mhm.
sympathizing with them or saying, "Wow, look at North Korea. You go, North Korea." It's like, guys, this is the most I mean, I'm so confused. People who are like condemning the opposite they're super political. They can't help but argue about stuff all the time. And then the most totalitarian state comes to the Olympics, and then they're just forgive everything because they think it's cute that they're in the Olympics.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, it's not consistent there. No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, with these different like where you were saying they go up into North Korea and they get the sanitized version. I've seen people before like complain and say that they shouldn't ever go up there because they're just feeding into their propaganda.
Y-
I've seen that before. Um I sort of have a different opinion of like whether you should do that at all, and here's why. So in terms of like people are saying no, like you should never go and visit North Korea and film stuff and get the sanitized version at all. Whereas I would say, well, actually, as long as you recognize that it is sanitized and like you make it well known, okay,
Yeah.
this is not like what it's really like. I think it's very, I think it's fascinating to see the sanitized version. To see, okay, so this is what they're putting on the show. Like try to read into people's faces, like see these things. Um, I find it fascinating to get just a glimpse even to like the fake North Korea. As long as people know it's still fake and they make it well known that it's still fake, I have nothing against people going
I
there.
mean,
Not like sneaking in and like getting captured and like that's
yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
I mean like where they're letting you in to go film it and whatever.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree.
Because people flip out and start yelling that they even go at all, and I'm saying no, no, no. Like I think this is part of history. We can show. Look, here are videos of sanitized North Korea. Like
No, yeah,
that's
yeah,
for
no.
history.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. You go up and it's just so painfully fake.
yeah,
I mean, I felt I felt oppressed watching the video. I was like,
yeah.
wow, I feel like I'm being watched by Big Brother right now.
Right, right.
And he talks about how they were trying to entertain him the whole time. It was kind of
Mhm.
creepy. And
Yeah.
they did like karaoke. So they had these two girls, two North Korean girls in a traditional outfit doing some sort of weird North Korean folk music, except it was a South Korean karaoke machine. So he set it to a really Western
Ooh.
song where he's like, I am the Antichrist. Yeah, anarchy, anarchy. Yeah. And then they just had no reference at all to anything. They didn't. He said
Wow.
they didn't have rock and roll. They didn't have jazz. They didn't have anything. They didn't have anything. They were
Mm.
just told to sing like this and humor him, and it was weird, man.
Wow.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's value in going there. What about that time? Who's the basketball player that went up and
With
played?
Dennis Rodman?
Was it Dennis Rodman?
I think it's Dennis Rodman.
What do you think
That's the
about
guy that
that? Because
I don't
'cause,
know what he did. I think it
he just went
like
up and he played basketball with the North Korean team or something, and then he shook
yeah.
hands with Kim Jong Un or something. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because
Yeah, I
that
don't
didn't
know
feel like it
either.
was a he was reporting. He wasn't exactly reporting on what North Korea
No,
is
he
like.
wasn't. I
Uh,
think he was doing it for the publicity, honestly.
I think
Which
he did it just because um, who else gets to go to North Korea
although
ever?
I just pulled up the Wikipedia page, Rodman sent out a tweet asking Kim to release American prisoner Kenneth Bay, who had been sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in North Korea, and then Kim released Bay the following year.
Maybe that's it. Was that the
Maybe
guy
that's it.
that was sent home in a coma and then died, or was that someone else?
Let's
There's
see.
that kid who stole a
He was
poster.
released in 2014, so no.
Okay, and he's still alive because there's this kid who stole a poster and he was
Yeah,
sentenced to like 14 years or 40 years or something crazy like that.
yeah,
And then they released him
horrifying.
in a coma so that he could
Yeah,
die away from the country to lessen the publicity.
right.
Yeah, he's screwed up.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm kind of running out of topics here. You got anything else? It's been more than an hour.
Ooh. Yeah, maybe just one last thing.
Go for it.
I watched one where it was talking about do you know what a happy ending massage is?
Yeah, I do, Benjamin.
Yes. Well, for the listeners who
Um,
may not know, it's at the
go ahead.
end
Go ahead,
of a
Benjamin. Explain it.
massage. Yes, you you know.
No, go, Benjamin. Go on. Go
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Okay. So
It's a
at the
Christian
end of the
household.
massage, it's currently illegal in the United States, but people will um give you a hand job or blow job or
Oh, he
something to
said it. Oh, he
yes,
said it.
I
You're under
said it.
arrest.
Yes, I know. Um, at the end of your massage, and it's usually, well, it's almost always in reference to a man getting it from whoever's giving them the massage.
I
What
hadn't seen
where
the video you're talking about,
yeah,
but
so
I
in
saw
Vice,
the thumbnail for it.
right? Yeah, so on Vice they have the one where it's a woman trying to get one for a girl because they don't typically do that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they none of this is legal, but they still do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
um um so she meets these different people who she keeps asking, so like, can I, like, will you do this for me? So she meets three people, and the first one is an escort, but not just a prostitute escort, like sort of like you're talking about where you're buying someone to cuddle with. Well, this is someone you buy to go on a date with you, to laugh, go to the movies, talk, like literally buying a friend.
That makes me so
Except
sad.
for, yeah, but for girl buying this big muscular dude, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, baby, I can hook you up.
yeah. And she was asking like, well, is like, so is sex guaranteed? And she said, and he said no. He said it has to be natural. So, and I think that's partially because legally prostitution's illegal in the United States.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there was him, and then the second one was just this weird older dude, and he was saying he could find the places that give her the most pleasure, but more of like a
Ugh.
therapy thing, but not like actually for pleasure, but just like
Okay.
to find stuff, which was
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, and then the third one, she finally found someone that would do it. It was this weird sort of.
Was it just like an interview? Like, will you do it? Yes. Okay, good. Thanks for the interview.
No, she actually got it. But it
Wow.
didn't show.
Imagine
It
that as
couldn't
your
show.
job, man.
I know.
She's probably like,
Yeah,
God.
she said she couldn't show this guy's face, like, and he, like, it just had subtitles underneath, like it couldn't show him at all because it's illegal. So like he would
Yeah.
get caught. But it
Um,
was like it was just weird.
God, imagine working at Vice. Instead of asking for raises, you ask for your next documentary. So instead of
Yeah.
like, well, you can either crawl through the Colombian sewers to talk to the refugees there, or you can get a happy ending massage. Just imagine the choice.
I know, you're
It's
like,
like I
okay.
I will give you I will he's like I will give up some of my salary to do the happy ending massage one rather than like the crawling around in the dirt one.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. But
Okay. It was
I took contemporary culture uh this year, yeah, first semester this year, and we did a unit on we talked about like sex and money and stuff like that, and we did one on I think like prostitution. We did a presentation, and apparently Georgia, specifically, I don't know if it's Gwinnett County or somewhere next to there.
hmm
Um, there is like the highest volume of places that will give you a happy ending massage, and there was
Really?
one really close by that was busted. Oh
Holy
man, I can't
cow.
remember. You could probably look it up yourself.
hmm
I mean, it's local, but
Right.
yeah, I can't remember the name because I never really went there.
Right.
Yeah. So you can show this audio in court someday, I'm sure.
Right,
Uh,
right.
but yeah, it was weird hearing that was so close. I was like,
hmm
wow, I never knew that existed.
hmm
Yeah. Granted, this is probably not the area that would know that place existed, but whatever.
Right, right.
Oh, wow, strong
All
note to end
right.
on. I felt bad for
Yeah.
you at the beginning of that conversation there. You sounded really awkward.
Ah, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I just have to be mindful of various other people's in
You know,
the
whispering like into the mic.
yeah.
Guys, my mom is right outside, so we're gonna talk about this one really quietly, okay? I I'm looking forward. I've got you a little present and everything. I'll give it to you
Yeah.
when we hang out. You said
Sweet.
Saturday for the paintball,
For
right?
paintball. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I'll give you a
paintball.
little treat. It'll be fun. I wonder. I need to look up more stuff about paintball because we only did that once and it was a
I
blast.
know. Yeah.
But I want to hear more about like the
Strat.
different forms of it, like how many
Mhm.
numbers, what kind of, because you get like the tournament kind with the inflatable cover, and then you get like the rough woods one that we had, where it's just like they throw you out into the woods with trees as cover.
Right.
Oh, that reminds me of I'll talk about it some other episode, but it was
Mhm.
medieval reenactments, kind of like that, I
Mhm.
guess. But it was like
Yeah.
actual armor with actual weapons, dulled weapons, and you just beat
Oh.
on the other guy until they touch their knees touch the ground, and then they're out. And it's
Dang.
like an international competition. I'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah.
But let's call it an episode. Why don't we?
Right.
Alex Bone signing off.
Benjamin Barrett signing off.